Good evening, good afternoon, whoever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. Welcome to the exciting Storms of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene is set deep beneath the city streets. There is the wafting of steam as hot water meets cold, billowing about knee level in this cramped, dark hallway neath the city streets, just above the level of the filth that flows underneath. If one cared to breathe, then, frankly, what would be introduced to one's nostrils could only be described as offensive. Here in the night, the good doctor, or as he calls himself, the kennel master, has called a meeting of Clan Nosferatu. And so it is they come at the appointed time just after the clock strikes midnight on November the 30th, 2020. There are about between 12 and 16 individuals currently gathered, some of whom are sitting, some of whom are standing or leaning. Two of them have computers out and they're casually tapping away on the screens. But when the good doctor arrives, all eyes flick upwards, and there appears to be a sense of anticipation.
All right, Michael will show up. He will be accompanied by his pets because when he's in the sewers, he doesn't feel the need to hide them. He has two little. Oh wait, no, that's right. They're out leading the scout mission. So he actually doesn't have Kodo and Poto with him. He does have King Shiny and Queenie behind him, a respectful distance. They would recognize the alligator or the crocodile because they're his pet project as well. Um, He does have a couple of rats perched on his shoulder, and there is what looks like a very friendly looking dog at his feet.
Mm.
And he'll say, I know it's not very common for me to speak up and ask for meetings, and for that I apologize. I know we're all very busy. A few things that I've had that have come to my attention recently, and a few things that I need to find out as well. First matter, the prince wants Nosferatu eyes and ears on different things in the city, and he's gonna look to the tech guys, and he's just gonna smirk at them, and say, "How much do we want to reveal we have, as opposed to what we actually have?"
Wow. One of them looks up from his computer, the eyes glinting red in the artificial light, as he says, frankly, what we have is negligible. Ultimately, the Sabat, well, they weren't idiots. They changed a lot of the passwords and locked a lot of the ciphers when they were here. We're still trying to get most of it back, but it's going to take its sweet time. For the record, the hacker's name is Dixie, or Dixon. His screen name is Dixie. His real name is Dixon.
Okay, Dixon. The question is, do we want to embellish, or do we want to downplay our hands?
Well, as I said, there's not really much to play currently. We need to. He'll cough up onto his hands and kind of green before he flicks it away nonchalantly. There's not really much that we can play at this moment in time, you see. I mean, we can say sweet nothings and platitudes and say we'll get them the information because we probably will, but what we need most of all is time and possibly access to some of the base root servers.
Those are currently in the Warrens, though, right?
Yes.
So rebuilding the Warrens is top priority at that point. The prince basically wants us to have eyes and ears, and he wants reassurances that if certain things make the light of day, they get erased rather quickly.
Well, I mean, that can be done, but in order to do that, we may have to hardwire into the system, worm it or Trojan it, which can be done, but it'll just mean somebody has to go into into one of the main surveillance hubs, like probably into the police headquarters, and then upload the Trojan spike.
Okay. Well, as far as things going on with the local bureaucratic issues, things like governments, red tapes, things like that. I have hands in that, so I can take care of that stuff. All we need would be somebody that can manipulate the police as we see fit.
Another much more kind of calm voice, or rather less broken than the Dixons, will come across the room from somebody who has just freshly appeared from nowhere, and he'll say, "That would normally be the purview of the prince. It is best to not sully our hands in what should be his business."
Point well taken.
For the record, this is the seneschal.
Right. And I have no wish to step on any bounds as far as the prince goes. My only concern is making sure that we have some measure of control, especially when things happen with stupid people.
The prince is a pompous ass. Sorry, he doesn't cough. I haven't coughed.
Right.
But frankly, let the Ventrue think that they can point the scepter of power wherever it is they may. We'll simply be the ones getting the work done.
Of course.
But no, you raise an interesting point. He'll look around. All of the Nosferatu show like deference to Hennessy. Like they don't bow anything, but you can tell like there's the kind of he is alpha dog.
Right, and Michael knows that very well, so he also shows the same deference.
He'll kind of tap the mask and he'll say, "What you're saying has decent merit, though. Ultimately, Dixon, Levery, you two are going to go and attempt to install the spike that we require in order to upload. Hopefully," he looks down at he'll remove a clipboard from the inside of his robes as he scans down it with a single gloved hand, and he'll say, "Getting back into the server control of the former Warrens will take a number of weeks, unfortunately. We're going to need some way or some means of getting around that."
I think that it might be possible that I could repurpose some of my animals to digging. If I could sneak a couple of gorillas out of the zoo, I might be able to get them to do that.
It's best to not raise too much attention, but if something could be circulated that they were perhaps being sent elsewhere for medical treatment, that could be of suitable use.
I think
As long as you are, raise a finger, as long as you are confident in your abilities to control such animals.
I've been working with them at the zoo to try to get them into more human-like behavior without having it become noticeable. It may take a little bit of conditioning, but I should be able to get them to function in that manner, more moving rock than anything. Unfortunately, there's no moles I have that are big enough to dig under the warrens and to get into the server room by themselves.
Very well. We will look into this. As for the police influence, well, that can be looked into quietly. He will say in very kind of a definite, "do not get caught" kind of voice.
Michael will nod his head. Second thing. As many of you may know, I put myself up for Primogen because I felt that, well, perhaps I might be the best one for it because I am fairly sociable and fairly friendly and people tend to like me. With the resignation of the Keeper, there are members of my coterie that want me to step forward as Keeper as well. I don't know if I'm the right person for that, and I wanted to find out if anybody thought maybe I should, maybe somebody else would be better suited for Primogen.
I have already given suitable whispers in the prince's ear for your consideration to be accepted as Primogen of Clan Nosferatu. Personally, he allows the blackened slits of his mask to look nonchalantly side to side. I believe that is where your particular talents will be more useful.
Michael nods head. I wholeheartedly agree, and I just wanted to give it some thought and to maybe speak to anybody else if maybe, because I do believe a Nosferatu would be beneficial as Keeper of Elysium. We who are masters of the unseen, of the moving fingers, and particularly of getting people to calm the fuck down when their beasts get out of hand.
Yes.
Brings me to my last issue. He's going to look around, and Ian's character's name?
Dimitri.
I don't see Dimitri. Has anybody seen him recently?
Not as of late.
Okay. The prince knows that Dimitri was the one who said that his plan was a trap. A member of my coterie who was in attendance during the situation passed this on to the prince in order to protect the rest of us.
There's kind of a general kind of a talk, whisper, kind of, rah. Before this gentleman stands up for the record, his name is Rorik. Rorik kind of stands up and he says,
"So, wait, you mean to tell me that in front of the harpy, that prissy little perfumed princess, he decides to go questioning the prince?"
Not to mention, the Prince's Childer was also in attendance, another member of Clan Toreador with a good amount of status, another Ventrue, a member of Clan Gangrel, and I believe that was it. Besides myself, I wasn't able to keep him quiet, unfortunately. I tried my best to make up for his guffaw, but
you will see Hennessy is tapping his fingers against the pipe, and you hear the kind of rhythmic.
are those? Is that pipe getting dented?
Yes.
Okay, so he's using potence. Okay.
If you want, you can perk empathy him.
That's not necessary. If he's tapping that pipe with potence, he's pissed off.
Yes. He will say, "I have done an immeasurable amount, not only to secure the city from the hands of wayward and lawless reprobates, but also to make sure the Clan Nosferatu, despite our lowly status in the view of certain individuals, are a respected force in the city. I will not have it undermined."
And that's why I will say what I'm going to say to you all, and you can take it as you want. I am the one that was being put forth for preemption. I am the one who could not keep Dimitri's mouth shut. I was the one who could not make amends for his slight. Therefore, I will take his place if he does not show up tomorrow to accept the prince's punishment.
"No, you won't," Hennessy will say. "What you will do is entirely different." You'll see he stops tapping.
Right.
And he will say, "You are going to prove the fact that you're worthy of being the Primogen of Clan Nosferatu. I will speak to the prince, and I will have him delegate the punishment of this individual to you, and you will come up with something suitable."
You kind of see a look of both shock and intrigue and horror just pass over his face in waves.
Ultimately, if you are going to be the representative of our clan, you will need to be able and willing to fulfill the most unpleasant of duties for the clan's sake.
I understand. If he should require me to execute him,
you will not be required to end his life. This is not. It was a simple slight. The prince, as I said, is a Ventrue. They have egos that are easily bruised. A couple of inches of skin removed, a contrite apology, something demeaning, and it will be over. I would not ask you to end the life of a brother so flippantly.
I understand. I have, truth be told, when I first heard about this, I already began formulating punishments that the clan itself would have demanded of this individual. So,
well, I mean, let's be fair. Okay, I'm going to ask. How did he fuck up?
In front of everybody in the car up, when we were discussing the plans, he mouthed the word trap. The seneschal then, sorry, not the seneschal, the Harpy then asked him to expound on that, and he said we could be walking into a trap. At which point the Harpy said, "Are you saying that our prince knowingly sent us into a trap?" To which point I stepped in and said, "No, of course not. He's just saying that we should be ready for all circumstances." And then I looked at him with a look that I usually give people that need to stop talking.
He didn't stop talking, did he?
No, he didn't. Again, my shame at not being able to keep a member of our clan from making an idiot of himself in front of the other clans. Usually, it's not a problem. I don't have to second guess anything coming out of any of your mouths.
Dimitri is an ancilon of Clan Nosferatu. One would think that would mean he could control his own words.
That was the assumption I made as well, since we are, well, he's a little older than me, but...
Age, clearly, in this case, does not come wisdom. Very well. As I have said, I will have it delegated to you. We will see how it is the prince will take a particular act to show his level of contrite behavior.
Of course. If there's anything that I'm forced to do to him physically, find out if the prince would like me to do that in front of him or in private.
Very well. All right, then. Is that all you required us for, Doctor?
Yes, once more, I apologize for pulling everybody away from their assigned duties and delegated tasks. I now have the information that I originally needed to breach the prince with. As soon as we can, I would like to get telecom systems back online and access to ShrekNet. I know that we need the main servers for that, but anything we can do would be appreciated.
Very well, then. Be on your way, you sewer rats. Scurry, scurry. You will see them start to kind of pick themselves up and start to maneuver away. The seneschal stands there for a few moments, his hands kind of clasped behind his back. You get the distinct impression he is agitated.
Right. Hennessy,
Record,
sir.
I was going to say, what height is the doctor?
How tall is he?
Mm-hmm.
Given his age and his background, he's probably about 5'9" to 5'10". May have gained a couple of inches after the embrace, but
I was going to say you're about 3-4 inches taller than Hennessy. He's only about 5'6".
oh wow, okay.
He's quite short. Not short enough to have the short flaw there.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I had to make this an unpleasant meeting.
No. Ultimately, I believe in lessons that are learned. And if he learns a lesson from this, then we can move forward.
Of course. You do know that I was willing to do this to take the fall for the clan, so that we would not be lessened.
I am aware of that. However, I will remind you, Michael, that martyring yourself on the heels of ignorance still will only yield ignorance.
As a man of science and a man of education, I should have remembered that. My apologies, sir.
Very well, then. Oh, here. He will extend a hand in which is closed a business card, and he'll say, "My own private number, should you ever require it."
This will not leave my sight nor my presence.
Very good. He will turn, and as he turns, he will vanish.
Because he is way more powerful than I am at Obfuscate right now, so yeah. And I also have no aspects, so yeah. At that point, Michael will gather up his people and, well, his friends, and he will say, "Come on, let's go find yourself something good to eat, okay?" And he's going to head off to the spawning pool.
All right. With that, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.